Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to another morning with Dylan. This is Dylan Russell, and we are on the Dadcraft server. We are actually not recording the right game right now, so I expect that we will have a lighter crew this morning as a result of that mistake. But that said, that we are doing some more flattening out of the area on the Dadcraft server, getting towards doing the blah, 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 the carpet art. Yes. So, where are we? Can't seem to remember what I was going to put today. That's okay. This one out. Nope. I hit copy and I hit paste. And apparently that did not actually go anywhere. Okay, where are we? Oh. Okay. So, first thing you guys need is some tunes. Right? So let's hit go on this playlist. Always trying something new, certainly hoping not to get in trouble for it, but hey, it's the way it goes. Come on, music. Go. Think we have game sounds? The fade in. We should have some. Should have game noises. So, you let me know if that's not the case, and I need to be on my live screen to expect anything to show up this morning. So I'll just take a quick show here. Two things. First off, this is where we're at. So we have no trees. I managed to get rid of the trees. So good start there. And second piece is, yeah, so we have a good bit of flattening to go, because you can see that we've got quite a lot of texture still. But what we are trying to build is going... resources, there we go. So we're trying to build this picture, which doesn't quite fit on the... Oops. What? There we go. We're trying to build the picture that's going to fit somewhat on this square. A little bit comes up. Yeah, we got a bit of work to do. And Dylan, I'm wearing funky buff-like item today. Not actually a brand name buff. This is one I picked up at one of my family training camps for scouts in Canada. And so this one is one that we use for the Cub section in that particular camp. I can't really show you the other half because it's on my hair right now, but it's got, oh, maybe I can. Let's see. It's kind of upside down on purpose because it's got two cub wolf faces on it. And so you can either have a closed one where it's sort of smiling or an open one. Chose a buff because A, I wore this yesterday out in the wind and thought it was kind of cute. And B, that I rolled out of bed this morning after falling asleep when the alarm had gone off and had a really, really bizarre dream that I suddenly woke up from and freaked out thinking I was going to be late for streaming. So I sort of rolled out of bed without getting around to brushing out the knots in the hair, so I guess you get to see a little bit of my camp look, right? And one way or the other, I still feel self-conscious about it, so that will not change. But let's get right to the choppy. We're going to do a bit of a break because I know we're going to need, obviously, the carpets and stuff. We are down at, oh, probably doesn't show on your screen. We're down at Y77, and we need to get, like, plus 77, and we need to get down to Y70 flat. Therefore, what I'm going to do is spend the first portion of it. We'll start with the mining section. Then we're going to take our Lego break when the server does its reboot. And any of these spots could be punctuated by more breaks and stuff. It's not a problem. But we're going to then take the break officially. And then when we come back, we're going to start with trying to guesstimate the amount of colors we're going to need and start stocking up on the carpets by just converting what we've got in the right colors of wool into carpets and sticking them in some shulker boxes. So it'll take some time to dump and organize some of the stuff out of here back at the base and make those carpets. And that's just a bit of an alternative. And then if we end up more time after that part is over, then we'll come back and mine a little bit more. But barring the odd hole that I've forgotten about, and I think there's one over here with the trees that might go down deeper, just about everything here has been filled or capped at 70, so that we can start to see that we're not that far away. We're almost there. We're getting there. So I'm hoping that today is the 16th, and I'm hoping by the time I have a stream at the end of the month for there's more coffee. For the stream weekend, Dadcraft Patreon servers, that I will be ready to go, if not already slightly started on the framing for the stained glass window, so that we can actually get some move on that one. If I get there beforehand, yes, I will start on that. We're going to try and start on the edges and framing and stuff, so that the part that's less exciting that has to be done on stream, pardon me for saying, is ready to go. If I get some off-stream hours to do that, I'll go ahead and do that. The same way that I took some of my off-stream hours to go and chop down more trees. Morning, Fantastic Sherlock Fox. Oh, I did not get a hello type of welcome for you this morning. That's a little concerning. So it may mean that my stream bot has crashed. I'm just going to force quit it here and boot it up again. We had some unfamiliar faces in stream yesterday, but it turns out, as I don't know if you had seen, they are not unwelcome individuals. They are actually the real deal. So always a score there. And anybody who wants to lurk is welcome to lurk. That's a great way to check out the stream and see whether or not it's the type of thing you want to return for. So it is odd to have someone checking out my stream for the first time on whatever Wednesday. It's all good, but it does throw me sometimes. Okay, so bot should be back. I don't know if it's going to recognize that Fantastic Sherlock Fox is new. Make sure. Setting. That. General. Where am I here? Okay, let's reset that. There we go. So you make it hello for the next thing you say. In any case, but yeah, I did some cutting down last night while watching Dadcraft 73's stream, just to try and get more progress done on this, because it's exciting. Good evening, Creef. How are you? And apparently the hellos are working now. That's good to hear. As always, I am indeed glad you could drop by. Which does remind me, though, that I am considering going ahead and creating a second Twitch account for the purposes of using it as the bot personality for this account. Doing pretty good so far, Creef. Thank you very much for asking. I hope you had a fairly positive day. I do know that sometimes these are the end of your day when you're dropping in to say hello. So hopefully it's a chill enough stream to help you unwind. Yeah, so I am thinking about putting in a second Twitch account for a bot, but because I'd have to create that account with its own name, etc., etc., I'm looking loosely for ideas for names. Yep, there we go. Mr. Rogers shows up. We're good. So yeah. I'm thinking that way I could pull the broadcaster account back to being me saying stuff, although I don't speak or write in stream all that often. Good guidance on Discord about giving feedback on bosses. Very dangerous territory. I'll have to take a look at that. Public holiday. Which public holiday was it down there? I'm not familiar with the public holidays where you are. And I also don't know in other countries whether or not they're like government public holidays, or if it's like the United Kingdom that just is a bank holiday. I would not be surprised too to hear that if the Southern Hemisphere starts having public holidays in clusters, sort of like in the winter, sort of how the Northern Hemisphere is all excited about clustering some of their holidays right around Christmas. Fantastic Fox says, I think we all need more holidays. I agree to some extent, but I will admit the Canadians are kind of spoiled, and what I mean by that in this case is that particularly in the fall, it feels like we have, actually just about most of the year, we have one public holiday a month. My biggest, I shouldn't say holiday, public event. Like Valentine's Day isn't actually a holiday. St. Patrick's Day isn't actually a holiday. But I mean, I guess we do need more public holidays that are actually days off from work and a lot of the paying part of life. But Canada actually has, count those, we have a major holiday roughly once a month all year round, which is kind of nice. My big beef in that one, though, is in North America, at least, you start to get to the depths of our winter with seasonal affective disorder, where people just don't get enough sunshine and excitement to avoid getting depressed in the winter. So I really think we need another holiday, probably smack in the middle of January, just because the weather is cold and nasty, and it makes it so it's hard for a lot of people to get out and about, and in the way that, like, for you guys in the Southern Hemisphere, at least it's summer, so in theory, if you can brave the heat, you can get out. So you can get out and do stuff and not be quite so bummed out, whereas in North America, that's not the case. What was the holiday called? I'm kind of curious. Because, sounds cheesy, but one of the things that I like to do every once in a while is wish happy South African holidays to my daughter's friend's parents. They're trying to become my friend, but it's a bit of a weird, strained relationship as friendships go. But they're still very much steeped in it. They've been here for years. It's just that they still go home frequently and pick up Afrikaan at home and try to keep up a lot of that stuff. So even the daughter who was born here feels that she's a transplant. Kind of a weird situation. And so I like to wish them, happy blah blah blah, or hopefully you were able to do something to celebrate such and such, whatever it was. So that's why I'm kind of curious what the holiday name was. Looking forward to our next holiday in Canada at the end, well, we'll say at the end of the month, really it's the first of the next month. Our kids will be out of school, and my daughter will be starting to get wound up because it's close to her birthday. Youth Day. Oh. Well, the title implies positivity for the future, even though the reason for it is quite negative. I can kind of understand that. It sounds a little bit like the unofficial holiday that Quebec has in Canada for celebration of a shooting in the 70s at a technical school. So I totally follow. Or an unofficial commemoration day is probably a better way of putting it, as opposed to there's no holiday for it. In China, of course, for the Tiananmen Square business. So yeah, I can understand that it's worth recognizing it. So our next major holiday along those lines, that way, is we have Truth and Reconciliation Day. It's a brand new holiday in Canada. It's happened last year for the first time. I think they threw it in September last year, but I don't know if it's going to stay in September or if that was just the first one and they're going to move it. But we've got a lot of those type of recognition days, and the idea is to take the day off and learn something about North American Native culture and let them tell their stories. because Canada is one of those countries that historically has been incredibly nasty to their native population. All kinds of nasty stuff. But rather than getting depressing on this one, suffice to say we have special days for things like that. And we also have Orange Shirt Day, which is separate from Truth and Reconciliation Day, as I understand it. Now, that might have just been the 1 year where they celebrated both. But, no, that's totally fine. I won't push any more grief. That makes sense. I just was curious about the name of the holiday. And, while I am incorrect, I can hope that the word can be turned positive for the future. I mean, because like if you think about it, when you look on the internet, I'm not actually digging up at the moment, but I do know there's an International Children's Day, and I can't remember exactly which day of the year that is, but I know it exists because every time it comes up, I go, oh, I should write that down. I never remember. And then my mom used to tell me, I don't know if it's true, but my mom used to tell me that 79 was supposedly the International Year of the Child, according to the United Nations, which was the year I was born on Armistice Day. So yeah, that got all kinds of stuff like that. In any case, yeah, I'm glad you had a quiet day. I guess one could argue that it's not exactly an extended weekend, but I can imagine tomorrow would be quiet as well. Well, or yeah, tomorrow because it's evening for you. I can imagine it would be quiet as well because there's probably people who can taking an extended day away from work and just making it a big long 4-day weekend. People love to do that sort of thing in Canada as well. So if you've got one that we find most common is Easter, people do that sort of thing, but May is a really common one as well because we've got a celebration of Queen Victoria in May. I think it was supposed to be her birthday, but these monarchs, you never know. They have birthdays, then they have official birthdays. So in May, we have Victoria Day weekend, which is always a 3-day weekend. For some, it's gardening planting day, or gardening planting weekend, so the garden centers are crazy. But for others, it's the first chance in the season to get away because you usually don't have half-decent weather till then. And so people will frequently take off the Friday right before the weekend. That's pretty sparsely attended. We don't have an official holiday in June. This is a really stupid question because I don't always know what different countries do. In the same way that the United Kingdom and some of the other Commonwealth countries move it or have it differently, do you guys celebrate Father's Day this coming Sunday, or is it a different day in the year? I know that's when ours is, and I am still needing to bug Fantastic Sherlock Fox. I didn't bug him for a birthday list last month, and so he's hard to buy for, not just as a father, but even just birthday gifts and stuff, because he never wants anything much for himself. Same day? Cool. I know the UK moves Mothering Sunday. That's what they call it, as Mothering Sunday, whereas Canada kind of goes with the US and has Mother's Day, and it's a particular locked day, as opposed to, I think, the UK one shifts, but I have to ask someone who's actually in the UK. Maybe Bobbering would be able to tell us. So I guess I should ask, Creef, but when it's Father's Day for you, I know what happens at our house. When it's Father's Day for you, do you have to, or do you get stuck doing your own braai, or does somebody else cook something nice for you? And up here frequently, thankfully not this year, but frequently, well, maybe, we haven't organized anything yet, but frequently Fantastic Sherlock Fox gets stuck. Probably makes a wise choice to continue doing the cooking anyways, because he likes to grill. But frequently he'll be doing the grilling and will invite my parents over for a Father's Day thing. But that's not always the case. So yeah, I do need to bug Fantastic Sherlock Fox for a list of things he would actually enjoy, because we've been having a lot of conversations this past week about okay, I can't count. a lot of conversations speak about like outdoor gear and stuff, but that's a very personal selection in terms of what people like and what they're comfortable with, because it does, you know, affect your experience of the outdoors. So I'd rather have him select his own in that case. The other thing is, as a mod on stream, even if I did have ideas, I wish I'd be taking you out and saying that, you know, that I need ideas because when I actually have some. But sadly, it's true, I don't have any. However, with Fantastic Sherlock Fox being a mod on my stream, it's not exactly easy to, you know, get moles who will play the game like Dadcraft has, snitch on him to Momcraft, or, you know, I'd really like whatever it is, and then somebody tells Momcraft. That doesn't happen here, simply because A, the two of us have good communication offline, and, well, usually good. Not always perfect, nobody does. But, that, and B, he's here, right? Like, challenge. Sure what will happen? Well, that's cool. Good to have a surprise from your wife and son. I'm not that organized. I wish I was that type of person. I always have wished that, but, you know, there's an old, in nursery rhyme, but there's an old, saying that more or less goes, if wishes were horses, then beggars would ride. Which basically means that, yeah, keep on wishing. Your wife's not that organized, sorry. And I feel bad for Fantastic Sherlock Fox in that sense, but he's known me long enough to know that that's just not something likely to change anytime soon. I put gravel. Oh, pull the gravel out. Upper in. Go. Semi-organized. Fine, gravel can go over. If I have any space, full, no. Here then. Dirt. The relaxed days are always great. We know for sure that we have, my son has a soccer game on Sunday. And hopefully for his sake that, the game goes well this week. They did well, and they won 2-0 last week. So, it's not a competitive league, which basically means the wins don't stack up, but it's always a good feeling psychologically when you come off a good week, and then you've been through a miserable practice in the meantime, because the weather has just been awful. And then go back to a game and do well with it. I can imagine you'd enjoy the relaxed days, Creep. It sounds like your household is pretty go, go, go sometimes. So I did update today's question of the day, which, if someone will put it on screen for me, that would be very helpful. But today's question of the day is... As long as you can spit those two, you're happy. Well, that's the key. That's the key. Today's question of the day is, if you were invisible for a day, what would you do? So we're, in this case, because it's Minecraft, the twist I'm adding to this question that I didn't end up in the typing, is I will also allow you to have the ability to go anywhere or do anything, but like as in, you don't have to worry about travel time or getting through walls or, you know, that kind of stuff. So if you could actually be invisible, then what sort of thing would you do? I mean, there's days where people feel invisible, like they're being ignored. There's a whole song about that in the musical Chicago called Mr. Cellophane. And the lines that struck me were, you can walk right by me, look right through me, never know I'm there. But if you really were invisible for a day and didn't have to explain to anybody that you're invisible, kind of like the Invisible Man or whatever, what would you do? And honestly, I think I would like to treat the question for myself as being fly on the wall in situations or times. Fantastic Sherlock Fox could be invisible. He'd find a quiet corner where nobody could bug him, read a book, and enjoy some combination of reading and napping in the sunshine. Probably with a glass of wine, I suspect. Yeah. my gut reaction would be if I could be invisible, I'll say I'm going to throw in there any time. Because I know I could rehash that into a separate question, but I don't think I'm going to. But then I would actually take the chance to go and sit. Maybe just, I won't use the time, I'll use the now. To go and sit maybe in a movie studio or in executive meetings for movies and stuff. I just listen to some of the negotiations with the actors, or be on set when they're filming some of the stuff with various actors. I don't necessarily have a favorite current actor. If anything, I'm more likely to malign the current actors. They're not terrible. They're just, movies, times have changed. I like the classics. But yeah, I'd like to sit. Say, for example, if I could bring it back just a few months, I'd like to be invisible, fly on the wall, wandering around the set of the last Downton Abbey movie during filming, particularly when they're having blooper issues. You know, that would just be fun. Well, thank you. So I'll tell a little bit of Fantastic throughout Fox's story. Basically, kind of my fault in a weird sort of way, but not directly. So we'd like to go once in a while, far less than we should, but we like to go hiking as a family. So we went on a lovely little hiking trip, and it was it was based around the riverbed, more or less, of a relatively quiet river/stream, most of which was dried up at that part of the summer. So I guess stream is probably a better way of putting it. But when you get up into a small canyon, the stream was far more prevalent. Of course, you're headed upstream. That's the way it goes. And it started getting narrow, and some of the people up ahead were saying, there's not much to see. There's no point in going up that direction. Feel free to turn back. But there were still a bunch of people going up that way anyways. We figured, okay, well, Fantastic Sherlock Fox said, hey, it's getting a little narrow, probably a bit sketchy because we've got to step on some logs and stuff to get across the water. Because some of the people coming down were quite wet. So he said he was going to go up ahead. Well, that didn't work out so well. He went ahead and was scouting for us and had a slip on a log with his arms stretched out on the canyon walls. And unfortunately, his body is not designed for taking his full weight with his small backpack to do that. So he hurt his shoulder. I think he actually dislocated it, then put it back in himself. But we're well past a year and a half of physio for this incident, and he's had other doctors and stuff looking at it. So today's appointment is just a check-in to see what the progress is, what the further recommendations are, because we don't really want. He's not too keen on the idea of having anything done surgically, simply because it can. Every time they do something like that, it reduces movement in the overall range ability permanently. So we really are trying to avoid that part. Well, part of what wouldn't be such a big deal, I mean, it is a big deal, because that's kind of a dumb thing to accidentally stick yourself in Iron Cross mode. But part of it was years and years and years ago, like before we moved and had kids and stuff. So we're talking 15, I guess, maybe. Maybe not quite that much. Maybe only like 12 or 13 years ago. But anyways, we had a dog who was very excited, and my husband was walking him, and the dog lurched forward, and of course, I don't know if my husband fell because of getting the dog yanking his arm out of socket, or if that happened as a result of the fall. But in any case, the dog pulled him quite severely on a downhill, and not only did he fall and bonk his head, he dislocated his shoulder then. So this hiking incident was the second one on the same shoulder. And in both cases, he had put it back himself. I don't think he intended to the first time. It sounds like the dog may have yanked it out, then the fall put it back. But in any case, it is not exactly as strong as it would like it to be, and so the resulting effect from that is that a lot of times he ends up with muscle knots, quite painful, around that zone, back and so on and so forth. So, yeah. So he's trying to get that one looked into. Is it trying to? We're still dealing with it. And it may be one of those things where eventually there's either no other recourse and you have to get something done surgically, or it could be that they get to a point where, yeah, sorry, this is like the best you're liable to be for the rest of your life. Without giving too many details, we are both sub 50. 2 years more than that, but a few years more, years larger gap than that. But yeah, we're both sub 50, so we tend to have long life on both sides of the family, so this could actually kind of suck for quite a while. Doesn't mean we're going to stop doing the things we love, but it just means that we have to be far more cautious when we're looking into new camping gear and so on, because Fantastic Shockbox needs more cushioning for that shoulder than I might, for example. Just, I haven't had an injury like that, so I don't have to worry about camp mats and things quite as much. Yeah. Get rolling. I'm actually was thinking about the number of villager patrols I've had while I've been working on this project. And one, I mean, A, it's a stupidly large space. 150. But on the other hand, I think it's also probably partly a matter of, what do you call it, density in terms of who's on the server. So for example, anyone like Creef would know by being a part of the overnight crew that if you're the only one on the server, then probability says that you're going to get the Wandering Trader more often, because it spawns in someone's area every X number of minutes, and if you're the only one on the server, it's going to be you. Like, that's just the way it goes. And sometimes I wonder if Illager patrols have something like that involved. I'm not the coders or the game designers to understand that kind of math, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's something to that. That they will spawn them every so often, and then there's particular controls on where they're going to spawn. It's funny, though, when you think about it. There's actually quite a lot of events in Minecraft where it's random number generation, layered upon random number generation, layered upon random number generation for different factors. Yeah, that would make sense, because, I mean, there's a lot of time that, unless there's something big going on, meaning like an event or community project or some sort of new and exciting thing, this server is actually pretty quiet while I stream. I don't have any objections to having other people on here. They can do whatever they want. They can hold conversations. I'm good with all of that. But it just seems in the last few months, particularly during my stream window, but often during Dadcraft's stream window as well, that is just a very quiet place to be. Which is funny because one of the reasons I joined SMPs was to have people around doing that sort of thing, like conversations and fun. But that said, I actually really don't mind it, and there's just enough shared time that it's actually successfully keeping me from doing solo worlds at the same time as playing the game. Well, I do think my proximity to one of the former pillager towers probably has something to do with it as well. I'm always confused when trying to figure out which areas or generated constructs you can take down, and the game will actually forget that they used to be, which ones they remember. I know villages, it'll remember something for a while, but then in Java, I think it's remove the bells, I think it doesn't qualify as a village anymore. At least not for the purposes of where the village center is. Whereas on Bedrock, that's not the case. On Bedrock, I believe it's centered around where you place the first bed. In theory, you could have a whole pen full of villagers doing their thing, but if you didn't have a bed, then technically you don't have a village. I mean, I guess in that case, what would you call it? Family reunion, maybe? I don't know. In any case, I don't mind the illagers as much as I used to. One of the things my son did warn me about, though, and I have stayed on alert for, is just that if pillager parties run into each other, then they actually combine and you get a larger and larger and larger party until you manage to pick them off. So I usually try and give them a bit of space. But if I start to see either they're not despawning or somehow there suddenly seems to be a few more than there was a few minutes ago, then I try and take them out right away, because last thing I want them to do is be calling to each other and then I end up with a major problem. So, yeah. Let's see. 7. So I'm going to guess it's nearly 8 in the evening for you, Grief. I do hope that my stream slots don't interrupt whatever you might be doing otherwise in your evening, family and stuff. I really do appreciate that you choose to take the time to be here sometimes. And if you ever need to do anything or lurk or whatever, no concerns that way. Can't think of the right word this morning. Once again, one of those coffee didn't make coffee kind of. Just had some sort of idea of a plan. That's different than usual. Oh, that's not too bad. Okay, so I misguessed by an hour. Okay. Because it's 10:45 in the morning for me, and I figured you were about 9 hours ahead of me, but it seems like you're actually more 8 hours ahead, I think. Yeah, 6:40. Okay, so 6:45. Too bad. That's the other thing that's a little inconsistent I have to keep reminding myself, is some parts of the world use 12-hour clock rather regularly in conversation, or when they write, and other parts of the world by default stick with the 24-hour. And I don't mind either one. In our house, we actually usually refer to the 12-hour clock in conversation, but my son's from a military family, so every once in a while I'll be talking to my my mother-in-law, and she'll say something in 24-hour time, and it takes me a second to do the conversion, and then that's it. We just move on. Get used to it. Ah, you eat late like we do. That's awesome. Yeah, we don't usually have our dinner till probably about, but somewhere between 1900 and 1930, or 7 p.m., 7:30, somewhere there. And fantastic show how Fox cooks, which is good. Frankly, I make food. I make edible food. That's about as far as it goes. I wish I was better at it, but it's one of those things that takes practice, and I just don't bother to practice because if he wants to do it, more power to him. I can cook beyond college food sort of thing. If somebody else is willing to do it, I will give over. They usually have better food. Part of it is that my parents cooked fine. Well, okay, let me correct that. My mother cooked fine. My father was absolutely dreadful. And the confidence level that I've got usually has me thinking that I cook about as well as my father, which is not saying much in a good way. So case in point, and I'll just make it super short. I know I've talked about some of the weird stuff he used to try and put in our meals, but more accurately, I did not like fish for years. I mean, battered fish or whatever, fine, like commercially battered, fine. But I did not like eating home-cooked fish for years. And that was everything from salmon. Most common ones up here you get like salmon, tuna, halibut, those sorts of things. Yeah, just not my thing. But my husband showed me that it can be done well, and we actually eat salmon relatively frequently in our house. I mean, compared to what I grew up with anyway. Because, I mean, it's good for you. And fatty acids and all that jazz. Anyway, and so it took me a little while to get used to the fact that salmon could be good. Fish could be yummy. I just didn't like it otherwise. Now, because my daughter isn't here, I can say this freely, but I quite like lamb. I think it's really yummy. Some mutton dishes I quite like as well, so depending what you do with it, mutton works for me too. Whereas my parents never served it to me growing up because my mother really strongly dislikes it. She thinks it tastes greasy. I don't get it, but whatever. If that's, her house, sure, why not? So I don't know where I developed a taste for it. But that said, we served it to my mother at one point when my daughter was young, and my husband cooked it. We said, yes, we know this isn't usually your thing. My mom's one of those ones that will eat anything and not complain about it, but it's just, this is actually good. It tastes different than I expected. And we just said, well, I think we grilled it or something. Anyways, but she had said, okay, I'm not going to eat it anywhere else except at your house. And we just don't serve it all that often. But, well, I shouldn't say didn't serve it all that often back then, because we knew it wasn't her favorite, even well cooked. But then my daughter just developed an absolute love for sheep and will actually... She adamantly refuses, if she has any pull whatsoever, to set foot in a restaurant that serves lamb or mutton, and gets really upset if we try to serve it at our house. She's got this funny concept where sheep had their own world in her mind, and I think it's imagination world, but neither here or there. So that the sheep actually teleport to that world and are so angry that they have dropped meat behind and teleported out and insist that they will never come back because we are so rude. Something along those lines. And it's like, oh, okay, sure. But generally, I mean, there's other choices. It's not like we're not eating meat, so fine. I mean, she's kind of a textural vegetarian, I guess is probably the best way of putting it. The people who, in a lot of situations, choose to be vegetarian just because the texture of the meat fiber really does not work for them. And so we do try various different ways of cooking different kinds of meat. And she's tolerant of some of them, but still loves to remind us what she does and doesn't like. Yeah. Picky in some respects, and then in other respects, very nice to work with as a kid. I mean, both of our kids will eat just about anything. And it's funny because often they will choose vegetables over sweets, and one of their favorite vegetables, cooked, happens to be broccoli. Which is odd because there's quite a lot of the population that does not like broccoli one bit. So I just find that kind of amusing that our kids are opposite. They like broccoli. They don't get it very often, but they like Brussels sprouts. And so on. They don't like leafy greens, so I can't blame them. On that one, it took me a while to get used to leafy greens as a kid. Now I actually quite like spinach, both raw and cooked. Although for raw it has to depend on the age, because cooking takes away that tinny effect that the older spinach gets to it. So what's on your menu for dinner tonight then, Creef? I haven't looked up and see what Fantastic Sherlock Fox has planned for ours, but last night we had shake and bake bread coated pork chops with rice and green beans. It was quite yummy. And I think after a conversation with Neon Traveler, Fantastic Sherlock Fox did them in the... No, actually, he didn't do the pork chops in the air fryer. We talked about it, but I don't think he did. I think that was the... What else we did? Anyways, no, we didn't, because it turned out that my son actually did have soccer practice last night in the wind, and so Fantastic Sherlock Fox got to take him to practice last night. But yeah, we've had some rain, which for us is a lot. Like, we still have, as of last night at least, we still had some neighborhoods in the city on flood watch. Just because in 2013 we actually had quite a major flood, and some of the people weren't pulled in time before their houses started filling up. So changes have been made to planning and policy and stuff, and we're a little more proactive now. But that said, we still had crazy winds, so Yum. We're in a phase right now, Creef, where the presentation seems to have kicked up a notch. You're seeing a lot of tablecloth set places and some cool placemats. And we do have our rabbit trails and ruts, but Fantastic Chocolate Fox is trying to vary the meals so that we're not stuck in a rut too often. International, sometimes we turn to, jarred sauces and things like that. But that's just because sometimes making those from scratch takes far more time than he has at the end of his book day. And asking me to do it means that it's not going to be edible. Yeah. Of course, sounds yummy. I know I can never pronounce the more sausage-style portion that way correctly. So it would come out sounding a bit more like a boerewurst. And, but filet boerewurst and salad sounds pretty good. That's actually one that surprised me. My kids like salad. I thought was odd. They like different things in or on their salad. Like my son he either likes a homemade oil and vinegar based dressing, or he will sometimes prefer his salad dry. That's fine by me. The leafy lettuce. Not my favorite leafy lettuce, but he does eat lettuce, tomatoes and so on. So I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth on that one. Which is interesting because a lot of kids fight over having to eat salad, and ours just did. But we don't put weird stuff in our salad, and what I mean by that is things like our kids have expressed a disinterest in water chestnuts. Okay, great. Those aren't going in the salad. They like to eat carrots or carrot sticks, but they don't want them shredded in their salad. Fine. Okay, that's so far so good. Yum! Ooh, that's the carrot and pineapple with orange juice one. Okay, now I'm envious. Because I find that when you put something citrus in with vegetables, it just gives them a brightness and a zing that I quite like. So, Fantastic Chocolate Fox makes a balsamic vinaigrette that we often use on our salads. But I like it when he switches it up a little bit every once in a while, and he'll use something, rather than red wine vinegar, he'll maybe use a raspberry-based vinegar. Or sometimes we'll just skip it all together and just go with a thicker balsamic drizzle. And that coats things a little bit, because the zing of having the vinegar sometimes substitutes for the citrus. But one of my favorites that reminded me of was that my mom used to do just basic steamed carrots, but she'd shred them like grated, and then after steaming them, they're all limp and everything else. But we used to do them with a little light toss in melted butter and lemon juice. So your salad really hit home, and I quite liked it. Salads are one of those things that I find, at least in North America, shifts all year round. It's not just availability of vegetables. It also seems to be somewhat, according to North American taste, shifting all year round. But we don't do steamed veggies in our house very often. It's often a special request. I'm not quite sure what the reasoning is behind that. We even have a set and forget veggie steamer and stuff, but steamed veggies just aren't something we do very often. So we do a good amount of oven grilled veggies. Not oven grilled, sorry, oven roasted. It's just about, up here it's just about the season for salads to be coming in vogue again, which is great for me because they're some salads I like. But unfortunately, one of the things I used to love in salad was broken up baby corn. So you can usually get canned baby corn cobs. But unfortunately, we use them in stir fries, and I can have them then, but Fantastic Chocolate Fox is allergic to corn, so putting them in salads is kind of silly. The kids aren't a huge fan of them in that state, so it would be just me. And if I have to choose range additions to the salads, then I'll pick something really wild like chickpeas or garbanzo beans, same thing. Or the other one, criminy mushrooms, so little tiny button mushrooms. Those are my thing, but that's just because when you can those, they're different and they get a bit of a rubbery texture to them that I find kind of fun, and it sort of changes the flavor for me. But I tried to get the kids on board with that, and no, they're just not mushroom fans. Okay. It's funny, and when we get the DC crew, conversations tend to turn towards food conversation quite easily. I like it, but it does seem odd sometimes. Furry dirt. I need a new shovel, but I don't think I'm here. Can't count though. I put. Oh, well, that signals Lego time. So I'm going to switch over to the Lego table, and I shall be right back.
Hello.
Thank you ever so much, Tiz, for catching that. My Stream Deck sometimes can be a little sensitive, so that I don't actually press or it doesn't recognize the second press if I double press it too fast. And so being in studio mode for OBS means that I've got things going far too quickly, and I just have to press it twice to get into the main screen. So now we're working on the spine for the book. We've got the Hogwarts Moment Defense Against the Dark Arts class, and it's the one with Moody. So we have put together the desk. It's got a couple little legs with a cross beam up top, and a couple of pieces on the end that look a little bit like chocolate bars. So yeah, I think I got that idea from my daughter's Lego Friends kit, and I also realized that I'm putting a few greasy fingerprints on here, so I think I'm probably gonna have to wipe down the Lego when I'm done. But after we did that, we've got a couple little benches that they put together, just a circle, and then a flat piece with a couple of studs on it, so you can clip the characters on. So now we've got Hermione and Neville, and they're just sitting at the desk off to the side. So then we've got the spine of the book, which is going to hold the whole thing together. And we just alternate a few of these gray panels. And the coloring in this particular one, the theme is black and yellow, which would normally be Hufflepuff colors. But I don't recall off the top of my head whether or not that's the color of the Professor Sprout book. That would not make sense because Lego does not usually duplicate their colors. They're pretty cognizant of that. So I probably am incorrect in that one. No. We do have a package of stickers that comes with this one, or sheet of stickers. So this one, we now need a couple of crossed wands on a flat yellow square for the Defense Against the Dark Arts class, I'm assuming. And it's one of those things that's always bothered me about the faux Professor Moody with Barty Crouch Jr. is, although he showed the students something he shouldn't have in terms of demonstrating the 3 unforgivable curses, and should not have actually done a version of them in class. I will say, strangely enough, I actually think, in my opinion, he's one of the best Defense Against the Dark Arts teachers the school has had during the Harry Potter years, which is kind of odd because he actually did a half-decent job of teaching them, not really defense against it, but to watch out for it and be aware of it, kind of thing, a little bit more effectively than the sad book reading that they get the following year from Professor Umbridge. Dolores Umbridge was absolutely dreadful as a teacher. I don't think she ever should have set foot in that classroom. In all honesty, I think I would have been happier had she tried to appoint someone else in last minute. But that's okay, That's the way that Rowling wrote the book, and it's her book, and she can do what she likes. She has a permit. Had a permit, let me put it that way. Now that the fans have sort of taken over and public opinion can be nasty as all get out, you can start to see that reflected in some of the material that's coming out of the camp associated with her. So, yeah, sorry to hear that. But anyway, it is what it is. So we've got half panels, like four stud squares that curved. We've actually got a nice little curve going on here. And then the top and the bottom have little panels that go all the way across because they have a yellow band that goes in between. I'm sure somebody's done the research, but I would find it amusing to be able to find a website that shows the, the list of where some of these parts have been used before. I think that would be kind of neat. Okay, what I think I'm going to do, this is a long break, but it's not going to be forever, is next step is just to put a couple of little gold gilt corners on the pre-made cover panels. and then snap them on. And that's really all there is to it. So I think I'm going to actually do that now because it's not really fair to use that as a step that people have to pay for, or that we wait till Monday and then, or sorry, Tuesday, and then use our reboot step. It's kind of a cheesy step. So let's just get it over with and get it all snapped on. Then we can get back to the real star of the show while we're here, is the Minecraft. And the plan for after this bit is to start turning the carpets, or sorry, the wool blocks that we're going to need for our carpet art into the actual colors. Because I can spend some of the weekend mining down. We're at 76, I believe, and just need to go down to 70, so it's not a huge ways. And then I still yet to figure out what color border I want to put as a frame around the outside of the whole thing. So I'll have to terraform after the main art is laid. So that's all we do with these ones, is we just put the little curvy corners on, and then we just snap them on to the side of the book. And that's where I'll leave it, because the next step after that, starts working on the interior of the book. We'll just leave it at that. And I will see you back at the other desk. All right. Boing. Yeah, the books are quite nice. We've got 6 of them have been released so far, and actually I'm just going to take a quick peek over my shoulder to see what that Hufflepuff color was. Interesting. On the greenhouse book for the Hufflepuff style, rather than going black and yellow, they went with a tan, which quite surprised me. But they still have the yellow accents on all of them. Funny, somehow I had it in my head they were all house colors, but now that I look over my shoulder, actually, I think I would say probably only Slytherin and Ravenclaw actually have any blue or green base to them, which makes sense. But the other ones are not exactly the colors I would have expected. So they've got, we've got a transfiguration class, I think, we've got a transfiguration class for the Gryffindor one. So it's, each of these have 2 modes really, is either the classroom or the common room for that house. In the house ones, of course the Fancy Against the Dark Arts class is just the one style, but got those options. And then we've got, so it's Transfiguration. Hufflepuff was Sprout's greenhouse. We've got, what else? Unusual one there. Potions classroom, understandably for Snape, with regard to Slytherin house. And then, oh shoot. Oh well. And then we've got, I'm trying to remember, a Flitwick's classroom with the whole Feather Wingardium Leviosa business for Ravenclaw. There's 3 of them. I'm trying to remember what the 4th one was. I could look over my shoulder, but I'd hope I actually walk towards home instead of away from home. Yeah. One of the neat things about them actually is they are books in that you can close up the sets and put them on your shelf like a book. I had to make the choice whether I was going to open them up in diorama format, have a little scene, or whether I was going to close them up and display them as books. And for the time being, I've got them set as a diorama scene, but I may display them as books instead when I get too many sets to fit on my shelf, and we're close to that set, that or in time, because the ones you get to pick from all have open and closed modes. I did miss out on a few of the Fantastic Beasts sets. I don't have any of those yet. That's okay. I'm around here for a bit. I'm going to free the cat. Go. There we are. Okay. Do I have empty shulker boxes? Okay, perfect. Just going to bring up my art so I can quickly see how many. Where did I put it? That's not good. Games, Minecraft, build tools and plans. Oh, there we go. Oops, not what I want. I meant to open something in a new tab, and instead I went over top of the tab I was using. Good. Okay. How many colors do I have? You, the legend. 10. That's not bad. Okay. So, what I'm probably going to do is try and, as best I can, use the same color shulker box for the color of wool I need. And that way I've got a ton of everything. Let's see. This. You see I've made a few of them and a couple of mistakes. Oopsie daisy. Come on, you. One of the things I'm discovering again is opposite to Minecraft when I'm playing Valheim, is that the key required to get things to completely go straight into your inventory full pile is opposite. So, for example, we've got Shift that does it in Minecraft, and it's Control that does it in Valheim. And every time I swap things around to try and make it more comfy, then I find out in that world the one that it was set to makes more sense. Yeah, can't win them all. Okay, we've got cyan one because I need that. Green lime. Okay, well I can make another one of those. And pink. Oops, pink one. So Penta. Steal that for now. White one. Dark gray. I'll use the gray one. I'm stuff with that anyway. Blue and red. Another blue. What am I missing? 6. Oh, right. Oh, I guess I need a replacement. Kitty. So let's go and see if we've got the dyes for it. I've got yellow. Oh, I've got pink, so I might as well pink when I don't need magenta after all. Pink one. White one. Green or lime. I'm going to need another one. These. Those. Green or lime. Purple's dealt with. Dark gray. One. It's gray and light gray. I'm going to use this color, so leave the gray dye behind. Blue. Light blue. Orange. I don't want lots of orange crates, so I'm just going to steal the one from the other house. Sorry, from the trading hall. And cyan. Okay. Let's deal with these. White. I don't have the texture pack, so we're not going to be seeing Dino Dash and Tomazon on this one. I could, but I... Okay. Green. Oh, I gotta do green this way. Sorry. Ooh, am I into those already? Okay. Gotta fill up the... Just while I'm at it. Okay. Pouring back in. Go, here'll be our lime. What else? Can't count. Purple, green, pink, white. Dark gray will be the deal with that. And the stuff in here. Oh, okay. Take the trees. Oh. Box. Far too many. Far too many. Okay. Random junk. I'm trying to make this as efficient as possible for a trip, but it's not becoming very much so. It's a lot of puttering around. Now I've got myself double checking all the time to see if I'm on the right screen. Get me through a couple pieces. Beanies out of the way. Bring a little bit of string. Okay. I'm not trying to keep the whole world, but really use some organization, and I'm just not good at that. Banners. Too many banners. Toady stuff. Fix. It. Trade those away. Copper. Fine. No time to go trade them right now. Just, well. Okay. There for now. Don't have time. Okay, so now we've got a gray box. Good. Here. Let's do else. Dark blue, light blue, and red. That's what I missed. Sleep. And coffee. Okay. Here. Dark blue chest. Chest. Red chest. And a cyan chest will for orange. Red one. And we can start with a shulker each in the carpet, so that's a good place to head to. Alright, so let's get the orange one. Orange one's gonna have a weird name, but I'm okay with that, because you don't need a gazillion orange boxes. This was my mistake box, hence the Dragon Lunchbox reference. courtesy of the Zerks. It was a leftover as a result of doing city work with, not city work, and dragon busting. Yes, that's the word. Only need, well, I don't mind using the orange box again, purely for the purposes of red. Dark blue, red, light blue. Okay. Purely for the purposes of color coding the wool, but orange has never really appealed to me as a color for Minecraft purposes. Other than that, if I make too much of whatever color that we're going to be using, then the extra is going to go in the there's a chest in the main house, storage house. I don't think I have enough problems storing things. If I did end up suddenly having a problem figuring out how to store things, I am perfectly certain that our friend Carnage Joe can probably give me a tip or two. She's got quite the storage house. And for all I know, I may not even have enough wool anyways to build an entire shulker. I should know this from last season. And why I don't, I'm not really. That weird little 14 at the end. I also was paying attention to how many stacks I'm using. That would be sensible. Will I do that? No. What's that? 4. Okay. 4 and there's many. That's okay. Predictable. Okay. Purple's down. Green. I'm green. Let's count this time. I'm green. Are you? Three, 9. Well, it's space 4 anyway. Okay. Back. Pardon me. Oh, okay. Well, that's inconvenient. Box. Really wasn't paying attention when I grabbed a shulker box, was I? You are going to be purple. And I just realized I did that wrong. Let's just go empty this. Of inventory. Inventory to pick up the other stuff. Go. Run! Funny, after running in Valheim, running in Minecraft seems so incredibly slow. So slow, slow. So I have space, okay, we're good. Lime one down. Dump box. Random junk. Give me some space. Here. Where I was going to end up anyways is in the dirt storage. I have just a little bit of dirt storage. Yes. I can take this stuff. Right. 9 so far. X. Run, please. Pokey poke. 9 stacks got me roughly halfway full. 8. 8. Okay. Almost. Okay, well. Full. And we're looking at 18 stacks, more or less. Dead bullocks. Come on. And please. With some extras. Well, carpets. Gee. That's it. Not today. There we go. Right. That's that one down. Now, I'm not sure which is more repetitive. Doing this, or whether the mining is more repetitive. Back one more time. Base. Come on, cat. Real cats meowed half as much as Minecraft cats. I would probably be wanting to something pretty nasty to. But thankfully, most cats don't do that unless, well, my experience has been most cats don't do that unless either they want a mate or they want, either they want a mate or they want to have some food. And the food is almost always time. Perfect. That one's good. Pink. That's not. White's easy. I actually have some of it. Yep, that one for me. Gray I don't. Back. I think it's on that side. I don't have a sorter system in here, so pink is a pain. Pink, sorry. The colors are a pain. What cat? What? No problem. welcome aboard on the server, Creef. So you can find a chance to get something productive to your liking done. Okay. 5 more should do it. Gray. Standing there. Right in front of the gray. You know, that would make sense. And I made gray, not dark gray. Oh, man. Try this again. B. 4. 10. Dirt 5. Not bad. Wow. There's creepers. That's so far. Okay. Here we go. That one. Bet on 5. That does. A little bit extra, but that's okay. That this was meant to be a little bit extra box, but throw it in here now because wrong gray anyway. Light gray box, so that when I get back. Blue. Probably easy. Yeah. Dark blue sheep, please. There we are. Okay, so here. Oh, kitty. No, these are not for you. This is not for a cat bed. If I was nice, I'd say sorry, digital store. Not. I'm not sure which I like better, cats or dogs. Sometimes dogs want a lot from you in a way that cats don't. But on the other hand, how many do we need? Sometimes dogs want stuff for you in a way that cats don't. On the other hand, cats want stuff and want it now, whereas dogs are a little more patient in that respect. Light blue. I think that's what this guy is. Yeah, light blue. And really, if you prefer dogs, in Minecraft, you prefer cats. Yeah, I will say, in Minecraft, I find dogs useless. It's not that there's anything wrong with them, per se. but having them around, I find, because you actually need to take them with you for them to have any use, really, in Minecraft, that they're kind of more hassle than they're worth in that respect. Mine have a bad habit of finding every possible super dark hole, or finding every possible lava source, and then I need a new one. Yeah, whether it be dogs or cats, the same thing happens in that respect. Whereas at least cats in Minecraft, once you've got them around your base, in theory, you don't get creepers running around. But that depends how many cats you've got going and how many creepers you've got coming your way. 5. 10. 5. I have extra like that. 6 stacks. Nope. Okay. There's light blue down. Next. Cyan. I know where that is. Cat. I'm also glad the cat's not jumping on top of the chest, because that would be problematic at the moment. Kitty kitty. Wait. Oh, a fantastic dog fox. Are you mobile at the moment, just waiting, or are you actually finished with the appointment already? That would be a really quick one. Quite a in and out. Back if you threw already. Sorry for the distraction. I'm just trying to get these carpets done as quickly as possible because they're not as much fun as watching paint dry. Or we know this now. One of the ways that my up to that my cats have died at the base, I had 7. I no longer have 7 because I offed a cat by mistake. Well, several of them. Because as I was putting things away, the cats wanted to sit on the shulker. On and or in said shulker. Problem with that, of course, is that when the shulker closes, poor cat gets injured. So I've lost a few that way. I would say cat's fault, but no, it's probably player fault. You for fun or what? Here we go. It's just odd that they want to sit on top of them the same way they want to sit on top of on the top of chests. And yet, we're just going to get swallowed up inside. Yeah, this is making these carpets up is a little bit of putting the cart before the horse, but you can start to tell I'm getting a bit excited for the actual art itself. The closer I get, the more the mining is frustrating, just because I want to be doing the art. I prefer the art. Even when it's just laying squares and following a pattern. At the right amount. Mobile and actually almost home, just waiting for a prescription. No wait, very short appointment. Sorry to hear that you've got a prescription. But we can talk when you get home. I bet you it's probably more painkillers of some sort, or a muscle relaxant or something along those lines. Oh. Okay. Okay, get the orange out of the way from the dragon lunchbox. While I malign Minecraft in some ways, there's times that every once in a while something smart seems to occur. For example, I can stand here and do the carpets, whereas if it was actual carpet in real life, my luck would tend to be they'd slide down in between, and then I'd have trouble going to get them, and I'd have to take everything apart to go after the carpets. So, I mean, in some respects, Minecraft is actually quite helpful. It's never the cat's fault. Dogs have owners, cats have staff. We work for them, don't we? Or actually underestimated. I must not have had a full stack. Full stack out of that. I know it's more than I need, but wow. Okay. Oh. Bug. Canada is better over-the-counter meds than USA. I always pick up some whenever I cross the border. It's funny. For a while, there were things we picked up from across the border in the US. Not a ton of them. But there were a few things, such as, for a long time, you couldn't get a leave up here. You can now. It's been a while. And then there were some things that, strange enough, we still have. There's a product called Voltaren Amyl Gel, which has diclofenac, I think, in it. I think that's the one. And we couldn't get that up here except in a prescription. But now that we can, down to the white now. Let's see. Purple, lime, pink, light blue. Yep, like we could get it in a prescription up here. But we dirt. But it's a product called Voltaren Amyl Gel, and helpful, very very helpful product in terms of like muscle spasms, and it's like a A535 really. That's another product very similar, but in any case, this Voltaren stuff, it came out in the US first, and so it's been in Canada, but Fantastic Sherlock Fox and I don't use it all that often. So what the result is that I have, I think, prescription sitting in a drawer and leftovers in his name. That was from a compounding pharmacy where they had to put it together for us. But I had a whole box full of white carpet. There it is. I was going to say, I'm trying to figure out where I had it. That one in... Wow, I can't believe I spent the majority of the second half of the... Well, I say second half, the second window of the stream putzing around, not pulling everything out of the boxes correctly, and not getting the carpet in. I'm not even gonna... Yeah, I'm not even gonna ask. Get my brain around that one. Hold over here for now. What else do we need? Dirt. Let's get the andesite up. Right. There. What else do I have in here? Light gray carpet can go away because that... Very squirrely. Very, very squirrely. So that one, rather than being dug, that particular squirrel sound, still from the same movie, but it's from the senior dog Alpha. Well, supposed to be senior dog Alpha from the movie Up. I squirreled on that quite royally.
And now for something completely different.
You would. You would. Let me just get these put back in the house to reduce that squirrel, and we'll go build next piece of the Lego. Because, yeah. When you see something going in a tailspin, you have to recover it. And it's always a good move. About that. Don't know why I'm going so squirrely at the end. Not quite sure where things fell apart. That's okay. Stuff happens. The white carpet. I need to finish this. It's going to drive me crazy. If I have extra, I have extra. Okay. E. 1. Don't have enough, but closer. 2.5. Fine. 2, 3. Two, 6. Perfect. Okay, close enough. 2. Carpet in the corner because it's the only one I've got. Alright. I'm in a safe place. So let's go to Lego. And let's see if I can get the stream manager up. Alrighty. So, long story made short, we won't go for too long here. What have we got? 5, 10 minutes? Okay. So, what I'm doing with the Lego Redeems, I haven't changed the points portion, but it's going to be a roughly 5-minute section rather than being just a particular set of steps, because sometimes things are longer, sometimes things are shorter. So we've got 6 left. So let's see, we're back to the inside of the book, and me and my strange greasy fingers, which are weird because I wiped them in between. So it's time to put on a few more stickers. So we've got a fan-shaped one, mirrors and fans and stuff, which I think that has to do with faux glasses for the Defense Against the Dark Arts class. Moody was actually one of the one who talked about faux glasses and sneakoscopes and things like that in the book. And so, good. Usually I'm fairly fussy about stickers, but as I noted in the last build, sometimes if you've got a really bizarre shaped surface, it's just difficult to get them straight. Whereas this one actually has some nice framing to get them relatively straight. But once you get them down, it would be evil to try and pull them off, and you probably wouldn't manage to succeed without damaging the sticker. So we've got windows, of course, being a classroom, a shelf with the sneakoscopes and a bubble. That's okay, it is what it is. This last one has strange materials in it, jarred potions and so on, and what looks like a, I don't know, dino rhino skull, and a wizard's portrait on the wall, and I don't know who that would be. One of the things that did seem to happen in the movies and the books was that the classroom does not get changed or rearranged a whole lot when they switch from year to year, teacher to teacher, in the Defense Against the Dark Arts classroom. I find that interesting because in real world, we could check in with people like C.K. Graves, but as far as I know, in grade school in the real world, a lot of times people do change things up. Teachers change things up for the year to make the classroom fresh, or sometimes they change it up seasonally. No problem for the Lego Fantastic Sherlock Fox. I know you're a fan of them. So yeah, the teachers often do change things around. Now I'm going to set this piece aside and we'll come back to it. And if I can find a space, there we go. Okay, we are starting an extension section that will pop out the center. It's one of those unfortunate, you'll have to wait to see what it looks like, 'cause it's not easy to show the picture. We've got pretty standard 2x1. Then we've got one of the L-shaped pieces that has studs on 2 sides so that you can mount things quite easily to walls and so forth. There we go. And then a 4-stud brown section. Okay. And page turn. We've got another mounting chunk, which will go on this zone. Oops, and I missed. What am I supposed to put on there? Oh, I need a 1x1 tan piece and a 1x4 skinny little bar. And then that goes underneath the other section. Now we've got a lovely little 1x6. I love building these Lego things. That's one of the reasons why I looked at taking it as a 5-minute chunk, is just that we can then get a little bit more progress made, and I can feel confident that everybody's getting a fair shake when they redeem that build. This is kind of a funny situation for me, because Fantastic Sherlock Fox doesn't normally get the opportunity to sit through or maybe put up with watching me build these things. I usually spill them all over the coffee table or something, and he's on a different floor cleaning or cooking or something else. Which is, frankly put, that's the way the house goes. I'm not the world's most domestic person. And Fantastic Sherlock Fox is A, OCD, and B, son of a military family. The resulting effect is he jumps on things and gets them all done, and then I say, well, you know, what is it that I should have been doing, or what, before I start into something, what is it that I should be doing? And reality is just a lot easier to get things done than it is to actually delegate. He's good at delegation in a work sense, but not in a domestic sense. Okay, so then this one will go across the top, right in the center. The bones are really neat, these little mini bone things. I hope the camera focuses, but not always. Okay, and then I need a 2x, oop, not that one. 2x1. And where are we here? I think that's it. There's your 5 minutes worth by the time we get the stickers on the inside and start the extension build. We'll slip back over to the other screen and wrap it up. I'm not so sure about that, Fantastic Sherlock Fox. While you consider it's a bad habit on your part, I need to work a little harder on this whole adulting business. It seems a little crazy. Put the light gray carpet over there. That means I need black shulker box. No. Pull this one out. See what color it is. Nope, that's a gray shulker box. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make, that's a gray shulker. I don't have an actual black one yet. Make a black one and play musical chairs with this stuff off camera. And this one in a black shulker box. Go that, See? That? Okay. I can get that stuff all put away. And what's in here? This is light gray carpet and a bit of extra gray. Okay, so I'll get all these things put away off camera. Adulting is overrated? I don't know about that. I would not say adulting is overrated. Adulting is one of those necessary things, and it's more unpleasant the less you do it. That sounds weird. So what I mean by that is that once it's more of a habit, then it's less unpleasant. But what I'm actually going to do, rather than poking around in boxes, spend some of the space I've got. And I'm out of string entirely, but that's okay because I have more of these than I can shake and get. Because this is, well, half full. This is full. All 6 of those are full, and it's still growing away like crazy. So, figure when I AFK, I end up with a lot. Well, it's funny that you actually use that phrase, Grief, only in that some of our parents over here are still in that mindset where they need to encourage their kids, particularly boys, to be good providers. And basically, I don't think it means do everything domestically, but you raise the kids to not complain when you ask them to take out the trash and so on and so forth. But the resulting effect sometimes is girls in the new world who don't have to do traditional girl jobs or traditional girl positions have a little bit more opportunity than they used to be lazy and not pull our weight, because we encourage guys to learn how to, I guess, be a part of things and pull their weight. So it can bite you, I guess, is where it's going. In all honesty, if like Fantastic Sherlock Fox used to travel a lot for business, I don't know if that's going to pick up again or not. Personally, I hope not. But because he traveled a lot for business and sometimes to strange parts of the world, like India and so forth, that I had often wondered, if something negative had happened, what would my adulting look like? I mean, it'd be far different than it is now. And I just, wow, that idea is enough to frighten me, which means that then I dive into a game like Minecraft and enjoy the heck out of it. That's the way it goes. Okay, so, wow, that was negative ending. Oops, oopsie daisy. Okay. So let's, lock in here. So I'm looking forward to, daytime, please. Looking forward to getting our map done. We are much, much closer than we used to be. We've got the rest of this layer off for now, and that is at, I believe, 676. That's 77 where my mouse is now, so it could be 77 because I didn't get it all peeled down. But not that far to go, only 7 more layers, which looks like a lot. And it will take longer and longer to do each layer just because things are expanding out. But I think we're going to get there fairly soon. And I think we're going to reach our goal of being able to do it by stream weekend. So I do not have any plans to stream this weekend. There may be a surprise dig down stream this evening. I'm hoping that's the case. So if one's around, then you may see notifications come through that I started to stream this evening. Or this evening my time, which would be crazy early in the morning for people either in the other side of the world or so on. But yeah, so if you're around in North American time, I'll be streaming from 7 to 9 Eastern, and then probably raiding into Stormy. Wait a minute, it's Thursday. I can't remember if I'll be raiding in there or not. We'll have to see. But anyways, I'll know by then. But I'll be 7 to 9 this evening, just trying to peel down some more layers, so feel free to drop in for a chat. Otherwise, have yourselves a fantastic weekend, and we'll be back at it again on Tuesday. And we'll see how much I manage to pull off in between now and then. So have a great day. Thank you very much, Creef. Thank you very much, Tis for Truth. And thank you very, very much, Fantastic Sherlock Fox. I will hopefully have some more conversation topics lined up in advance by Tuesday. That's one of my to-dos for the weekend. So yeah, wish everybody a great weekend. As usual, we're going to head to the end screen, and then we're going to figure out who we have to raid for the day. So let's see what we've got going. Let's get the correct screen going up. This. Okay, good. So the credits are rolling, which works. Slowly, but they work. And we have... Oh, maybe not. Who do I have live? Let's see. Come on. There we go. Okay, so it looks like it's going to be... Let's go for a Bruno trip. So we're going to head off into Bruno and wish Bruno the best from us. And we will see you again soon. Have a great weekend.
Mischief managed.